Goliath, the 100-year war between monopoly power and democracy, and newsletter Big, Matt Stoller. Matt, welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't sound like Amazon's letter has you convinced.
Look, the chair, Lina Khan, is a pro-free market advocate for business. She just opposes monopolists and sees the law in a particular way. And so, of course, you're going to find that the biggest enemy of fair competition and open markets is a monopolist. And that's what you're seeing here.
So is there precedence for a move like this, for an actual recusal?
Not for what Amazon is asking. Amazon kind of mischaracterized the precedents here. No one has ever said that if you're an enforcer and you have specific views on the law, that you have to recuse yourself. That's just kind of silly.
Matt, we saw a judge this week really press Facebook's critics at the federal and state level on how they define a market and whether Facebook really is a monopoly. So how is Amazon a monopolist when it's got arguably 50% of less even of the U.S. e-commerce market?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think you can look at a bunch of different you can define markets in lots of different ways. So certainly Amazon has monopoly power over, say, books, right? And you can look into that specific sector of the market and say they have dominant market power. And you can actually look, there's a bunch of areas where they have market power. And you can see what they're doing. The antitrust law is not just about what happens if you are a monopolist. It's also what happens if you are engaged in what are called restraints of trade. So these are certain contractual arrangements, things like price discrimination, where you don't actually have to be a monopolist to violate the law. And Amazon is probably doing a bunch of stuff there. That's what some of Chair Khan's scholarship was about.
Yeah, that sounds a little fuzzy, though. Like, yeah, you could. I don't think anybody's arguing right now about Amazon's power in books. That's not what people are upset about. And yet this term monopolist is getting thrown around a lot. It reminds me of that Princess Bride line, that word, I do not think it means what you think it means. I mean, is there potentially going to be a lot more pressure on those who are pressuring big tech to define their argument a lot more narrowly and specifically?
Yeah, I think that there's the judges read the law very narrowly. And so there's going to be a lot of pressure on enforcers to actually be specific about what they mean. A lot of the legislative efforts in Congress are going to go there as well. You're going to have to be very clear about what a line of business is. But in general, I think it's pretty obvious that these firms are dominant, that they have market power, which they use. And there are things that are not fuzzy that you can go after, like a whole range of mergers that these firms have engaged in. So as an example, Amazon had a lot of power, but not monopoly in the sale of diapers online. And there was a company, Quidsy, which sold diapers through diapers.com. And Jeff Bezos said, we're going to lose money by underpricing them until they sell out to us. And that is ultimately what's happened. That is both a violation of predatory pricing law and it's a violation of the Clayton Act, which is merger law. But it doesn't require a showing of monopoly power. And there's a bunch of stuff like that that's not fuzzy that you could go after. But you are right that judges read these laws very narrowly. It's why there's action in Congress, and it's why there's a lot of pressure on enforcers.